everybody. Hello, it is so wonderful to see all your names in the chat. Everything was conspicuously missing in the last run, and now we know why. Because the last run did not stream. But thank you all, those of you who are joining us again for the second time tonight, and those of you who are just joining us for the first time, to enjoy the 9 p.m. show, Thursday, June 18th, here at the Theater in Quarantine. I'm Joshua William Gelb. Now, I don't know what time it is where you are, but I want to thank you nonetheless for tuning in and joining me here in my East Village apartment, where about 4 months ago, I converted my closet into a white box digital performance laboratory. Every 2 weeks, we bring you a new performance live. And tonight we are premiering Topside, a new play by Scott R. Sheppard, inspired by Donald Barthelme's short story Game, designed by You-Shin Chen and Gavin Price. Now, we were supposed to premiere last week, but due to some technical difficulties, we were forced to postpone. And we were supposed to premiere at 7, but due to some more technical difficulties, we are premiering right now. I'm ultimately glad we did because, well, thanks to Justin Nestor, Theater Me Too, so many other people a lot more familiar with streaming than I am, we have finally got a system up and running that I really think is going to do justice to Scott's work. Now, usually we collect donations for the artists, but tonight we are collecting on behalf of the NAACP Legal Defense and Education Fund. In the description, you'll find a link to my Fractured Atlas page, where all of our donations will be consolidated and passed on in support of their ongoing fight for racial justice. Give, please. After the performance, stick around. As always, I'll be here with a glass of bourbon to answer any questions you'd like to throw in the comment section. I know Scott will be here too, lurking in the comment section. Scott, it's looking like everything's working. So let's get started. I'm going to take a brief 1-minute break so I can get into places. The piece is a little over 15 minutes long, so sit back. Let's cross our fingers that you will enjoy Topside.
Cromwell's showing off again. The mask has gone to his head. You may think he looks suave, but he doesn't. He looks like a morose ant begging for an enormous crumb. crumb called attention. Just pretend to ignore him. He wears it constantly now. It's maddening. But his breath could kill a poodle. Miniature poodle. A bright cocktail of bacteria and teeth. I have to be honest, though. I am dying to get my hands on that mask. I explained to him the pitfalls of a scarcity mentality, burden of ownership, things like that. How sharing it might actually bring him some relief. I even trotted out marks. Maybe that was a mistake. He wouldn't have to give it up forever, not even for a majority of the time. I'm not interested in that, I told him. I even said I'd be willing to put something in writing. Because contrary to popular opinion, I don't want to take the mask. I just want to try it on for a while, a few minutes, an hour. Small potatoes. I miss small potatoes. What is Conwell doing under there? Does he stick his tongue out? Is he casting spells on me? What does he stand for? My face, on the other hand, is dirty laundry, just out in the open, just swinging in the breeze like a skid mark. Conwell and I have been down here for 127 days. Still feeling well. Oh, those symptoms. I wonder if Henry David Thoreau would be happy down here. He lived in a cabin for 2 years in the woods. I read Walden. First chapter. If I were a more dutiful student, would I have a richer interior life? I don't know. I remember him humble bragging that he built his little cabin for $28. Slow clap. Sounds to me like Thoreau's the kid in gym class that never took a shower. Yeah. Sounds like poverty to me. I like that. Henry David Thoreau discovered poverty and called it transcendentalism. That's funny. Oh, yeah. Great one for an English teacher. I wonder if that's the way to word it, and called it transcendentalism at the end like that. I'll work it out later. I love a joke about discovering something that people already know about. It reminds me of this old Richard Pryor bit where he thinks he's the first person in the world to discover masturbation. Something about him and his brother thinking they could get rich off of it. Oh, I haven't masturbated in 127 days. Nothing funny about that. If Conwell does something strange, I've been instructed by my superiors to shoot him. Unfortunately, he's been instructed to do the same. Not sure where masturbation is on this strange spectrum, so I'm not taking any chances. Neither is Conwell, apparently. This brings us to an important question. Where is Conwell's gun? I do not know. Look straight ahead. Don't give him the pleasure. Yeah. Sometimes I hear Conwell muttering under there. I think he's plotting something. I'm not worried. Conwell's all bark, no bite. He's probably working on some esoteric project that no one will ever care about. Like, empty cans perform Hamlet, Something really cute and arrogant like that. I'm having trouble sleeping. I read in a military article once you have to relax your jaw to fight off insomnia. All the Marines know this secret. I'm not a Marine, but pretty close. Am I a Marine? I do not know. I have been issued a gun. Conwell has no idea where I keep it. I will tell him where my gun is when he tells me where his gun is. Marines don't have time to waste on insomnia. Sleeping is like killing. It's gotta happen on a schedule. I understand that. I adore a rigid itinerary. It's the best way to know when you are. My grandmother used to say that. Very funny lady. I'm glad she's not around to see this. I'd like to make a controversial claim. I don't think our superiors have forgotten about us, or that our being down here this long is a mistake. I love the idea that the Chinese are up to something. If our being down here is a mistake, then, that's the end of theories. No such thing as a mistake. Mistakes are just gifts without bows. My old college roommate told me that once. He was a really funny guy. He became an astrophysicist, I found out recently. I was skeptical at first, but the reunion was nice, actually. He kept talking to me about this whole multiple universe idea. I don't know a lick about it. He explained the whole thing using whiskey glasses and a salt shaker. I think we were the salt shaker. He and I even got to sleep in our old beds in the Leeds dormitory. Memories crawling out of the walls. It was like that Madeline in that Proust novel.
A million words, never read it. Drank too much that night. Up to my old tricks. Tricks I like to call alcoholism. No. But anyway, my roommate was really broken up by the whole Higgs boson situation. Something about the weight of a particle. He cried at the bar even. Could have been the divorce, but I think it was the particle. Said it meant there were probably multiple universes and there was no use in studying anything, something like that. Death of science, something like that. I barely followed it. I told him he was better off never weighing the particle, and he asked why. I told him, results can be heavy. Oh no, too clever. I'm sorry.
Relax your jaw. I wonder if I'm still being paid down here. Do they have my routing number? Was it the one on the right or the left?
Hey boys, I think you may have my accounting number by mistake. So let me know when is a good time to discuss. What's that? Sort it out topside? Okay, thanks a bunch.
Supposed to watch the console, which still works, at least I think it works. The electricity for the console is generated from a series of magnets in the walls. That's what we were told. I can feel them. Sometimes it feels like all my organs are being pulled to one side of my chest. Like they have their own bunker inside me. Certain codes appear on the consoles. Conwell and I are supposed to turn our keys at the same time. This lets our superiors know that we're both still feeling well. Has to be same time. I have a key and Conwell has a key. I know what you're thinking. Too far apart? Wonder how the Chinese knew our wingspan. Nothing from the consoles so far, but our superior said that was normal. More likely we wouldn't need to do a thing, just watch and wait and eat. When in doubt, eat. Oh look, canned stuff again. Wow, no artificial colors. Hey Conwell, you mind if I eat Yorick? Go over the room again. Chairs, 2. Light, yes. Console, 1. Canned stuff, myriad. Spoons, 2. Conwell, 1. Guns, 2. Mask, 1. The eternal question, why 2 men but only 1 mask? God, that's a nice looking mask. Don't think about the mask. Don't think about the mask. Today's not your day, old boy. Leave it for another day. Go too fast up Everest and the altitude sickness can kill you dead. Happens all the time. And when you die on Everest, they just leave your body up there out in the wind. Too tricky to bury or transport, so it's just this snowfield of torsos poking out of the drifts like a little garden of dead ambition. Wonder what happens if you die down here from playing it too safe. I hate the canned stuff. I haven't spoken to Conwell for 15 whole days. And sometimes I think Conwell wants me to shoot him, and that's why he wears the mask. How strange is strange enough. Relax your jaw. Whoa. Does the ravioli have metal in it? Don't think about it. Conwell may not want to speak with me, but if he wants me to watch his cans do Hamlet, then certain preparations must be made. Firstly, to book the room. Now, will he invite me to his side of the room? No. He'll want to do it on my side. My side is much nicer. His side is for rehearsal. My side is the stage. I wonder if he'll start with a little speech. How embarrassing. If he started with some kind of little speech or something. Saying things like, in these unprecedented times, and big thanks to my mentor, the console. And you know, these cans have really poured themselves into this production. Remember cocktail napkins and little half pours of champagne? Do not cry. Just relax your jaw. Try not to worry, this is your room. And soon enough, when you have enough jokes, you can proceed with your plan. You can place an invitation at Cromwell's feet, and that will be his lucky day. Because you are a deeply, deeply funny man. And funny is not strange. Funny is funny. And at the designated moment, I'll launch. And everything I've been practicing will build to this moment. I'll emerge from my silence like a phoenix, and it'll be the funniest stuff Cromwell or anyone else in the whole world has ever heard. And Cromwell will laugh so hard that eventually he won't be able to laugh anymore, and he may start to weep. Because, he'll see how poignant the whole thing is too. And then out of the weeping, he'll start to laugh again. And he'll laugh and laugh and laugh, and then he'll weep and weep and weep, and it'll go on like that for hours. And I expect the mask will fog up. And he'll take it off and he'll say, I can't keep this. You, above all others, deserve this mask. And he'll apologize to me, and I will graciously say, thank you, Cromwell. But you can keep your mask. I don't need it. Not where I'm going. And I'll say it with a little flourish like that, keep him guessing about what I mean. Oh, yeah. To see the look on his face, then that is funny. That is really, really funny. Not yet. No, not safe yet. Yesterday, while I was fast asleep, I heard that song again. Cromwell held me in his arms and rocked me very slowly. He was singing it so gently. I pretended not to wake up. We've both been rocking each other like that in the night and singing. I wonder how the song sounds from inside the mask. I really do. And I miss the days when Cromwell and I would talk. And yes, of course, I wish we could start over. But now I have too much to say. And I will only watch him if he watches me. Fair is fair. If he wants to book the room, then he must speak to me first. And if he wants to see my gun, then he must show me his. I'm not sure how much longer we have. I'm happy to put something in writing. I've said that before. And yeah, so much of this would be easier if he would just take off the mask. But I know that's not possible at this point, so I just don't think about the mask. I don't even look at it. Don't even look. Don't look.
Hello. Hi there. Woo! Oh, hey, Ryan. Hey, Karen. I'm going to disable performance mode so I can hopefully see everything that's going on. It might get a little choppier now, but hopefully that was pretty smooth. Hey, John. Woo! Now it's time to drink. It got real sweaty up in that one. A lot less sweaty than the one no one saw. Because I forgot to turn my AC on between the shows, so I've just been sort of swimming in this very hot windows closed apartment because I closed the windows so you wouldn't hear birds outside, which was a demand from our sound designer Gavin Price. So this is the moment. I think the show has finished for all of you. I'm seeing hands. Thank you, James. Thanks, everybody. So now is a time when we are excited to talk to you. If anyone has questions, or Scott, I am pouring you a glass right now. If anyone has questions or thoughts, I've got a bullet bourbon tonight. It's my go-to. What are my... Mo has asked a very important question, which is, what are we going to do with all of that ravioli? Now, we've gone through a fair amount of it already, because as you saw, Conwell had a lot of empties. So, as you can imagine, I've been eating a lot of ravioli. We got a case. It was very cheap. And now I have a lot more. I believe I have 16 more cans. This was the first time I ever looked at what was inside of the ravioli in the middle of the show and kind of went, do I really want to be eating this? We forge forward. Here, I'm also going to just get... Can we show the people the vertical set? Scott, that's a great idea. Oh, we can try. Let's see how this goes. Here, I'm going to move my mic. I'm going to turn this light on. So let's see. Yeah, here's the set, which you can kind of see there. So as you can see, this is from You-Shin Chen did the design on this one, and you can kind of see that we really only did half of it because Conwell I pre-taped, and then we just flipped it up onto the other side. So what you're seeing here is just half of the bunker. The entire thing was done on its side with me on my back and variously kind of contorting myself to get up. It's a bit of a core workout. It's not the worst one I've done in the closet, but it is. There's a lot of tricks to it. I think I particularly love the asymmetry of the mask. So it's not just a single line down the middle. It sort of works around the console center, and you know, I think it comes off pretty well. Yes, Jess Levine says beautiful, great work, You-Shin, and that is so correct. She's a wonder. And Gavin says thank you for closing the windows, and you are welcome, because boy is it hot in here right now. Yeah, so this is, I think Scott talked about doing a sort of piece inspired by the Barthelme, and we've really worked away from that in so many ways, but something that is something that was about two men in a bunker together with a sort of ambiguous mission. Barthelme is a much more Cold War-centric story, and we were interested in one that kind of felt closer to where we are now. And so I was always very excited by the idea of doing something. I'd played a lot. Rachel Gita Karp asks, what other core workouts have you done in the closet? Well, I've been playing a lot with camera orientation and sort of where the gravity is in the closet. Usually it's, you know, all about kind of pratfalls and flinging myself all over the place. And this was one where I thought it would be fun to actually just say, yeah, the gravity is on this side of the wall, and let's just do the whole thing that way and see how that works. And it's a lot of fun. The chair is bolted to the ground, so I can give it a fair amount of pressure. I'm hoping the next piece that we do to hang the chair from one of the walls and see, you know, what kind of fun we can get up to that way. Yeah, Scott, I don't know if you wanted to talk a bit about chat a bit. I can relay your chats. I don't know. I would have loved to bring Scott in, but we're on a new platform today, which was the root of the problems earlier. We did a lot of, as you can tell from last week, and having to postpone. We did a whole lot of new. This was one of our most ambitious design-centric pieces, and really what ended up happening is we did so much programming that we overwhelmed completely my very small computer that had been overwhelmed already with some of the other projects, but had managed to pull through. And on this one, last week came and we realized that we just couldn't give a good stream at all, and that was not fair. So we went back and did a reconfiguration of the entire workflow. Scott says we went through like 50 drafts of the story, recording it in a closet here in California. Scott's been in California the whole time and still is there. And yeah, we did so many drafts. The thing just kept changing and changing and changing up until a couple days ago. But and I think in that way, it is really a representative of Scott's experience of the stay-at-home orders. And but yeah, so we ended up doing so many changes to the system, including going from, I had been on OBS, some of you know, then I moved to, these are streaming platforms for those of you who don't know, streaming platforms to OBS to Ecamm, which is a little more Mac-centric, but doesn't work with our new two-computer system, which is much more efficient and gets us a lot more of a crisper. We're doing a 1080p stream here. It was a little choppy at times, but I think for the most part pretty smooth. And so yeah, Ecamm unfortunately didn't work with our capture card, so we ended up going back to OBS, albeit with the Streamlabs OBS, which turned out to have better functionality. That being said, it's a totally new platform to me that I've never streamed on before, which is why we hit today's snag. So we got some more questions. I want to know about the process of creation. How did Scott write for the closet? How did you rehearse? How did the design come in? Hi, Mason. Thanks for asking. Basically, I wouldn't say more than a month or so ago, we really... Scott and I kind of met up online and started talking about possible ways of collaborating because of the work we'd been doing in the closet, and this was sort of the first thing that Scott got really excited about. We went through a bunch of drafts, as Scott said, and I'd say truly 3 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more, but 2 weeks out from the first scheduled performance date, we brought on Gavin and You-Shin, and usually we run on about a 2-week schedule with these closet pieces. I try to do some advanced work with the script and make sure that then a storyboard generally. But yeah, we jumped right in. You-Shin, within a weekend, had designed this. A week later, I built it, and for 1 week, while I was also sort of assembling the video and Gavin was assembling the soundscape, we sort of threw it all together. I think it's worth mentioning. I think it's worth mentioning that that last week it would have been a much less rehearsed version of the piece. We were fighting the technology to such a degree that it was deeply under-rehearsed. It would have been good, but it wouldn't have been as specific as what we ultimately did. And, I haven't really had my bourbon yet. Hold on. I've just been waving it around like it was like a can of ravioli. But it would have been great. But that being said, having this additional week has been really wonderful for us. And so I think it's really fascinating process-wise. We had a storyboard, we had the set, and from that, and we had the script, of course, and really we were kind of putting all of these pieces together in a very hypothetical way, not really organically in the rehearsal room as you usually would, but just sort of making a lot of choices very fast. And sometimes they're wonderful accidents. And so that's been what the whole theater in quarantine thing is about. I call it disposable theater, but it's not to say it isn't quality. It's just, the stakes are both high and low, and we're just trying to put out and sort of charge our creative muscles in a very fast way. And it's extremely fun to do and deeply stressful at times. Scott wanted to say it was really tricky to figure out how to match the action with the pre-recorded voice. At first it felt too much like a short story, but then we figured out tactics to line it up. And that's so true. I mean, up until today, we'd been working on that. And ultimately, what we were surprised to find is unlike what you'd expect with working on video or film, and what I'm actually really proud of in terms of crafting the theater in quarantine space is it does afford for largeness and clown, and that is surprising. You'd think actually it would be about like making a smaller performance, and actually what we actually realized was that we could telegraph one-to-one and really play in a very clown sense with the text, and that's what I prefer to do anyway. Mason asks, is TiQ the first time I'm working with live streaming? And you bet it is. I've worked with video and projection in the theater a lot. So I've worked with live capture on stage, usually with a video designer who's familiar with that. But this is my first time working in live streaming. Really, I had the closet. This is the backstory. I had the closet. I always thought it would be fun. It would be a lot of fun to make it a performance space, a sort of ironic joke. And then when the pandemic hit, I realized the aspect ratio was very similar to my iPhone, and suddenly I realized that there were streaming capabilities to be had. Scott does mention how we had met before the Secret Bowling Alley, but because I had seen, of course, Underground Railroad and a lot of his work that he brought to New York with Lightning Rod, and I think Scott had seen some of my work with Little Lord, and so we were familiar with each other, but we hung out at a secret bowling alley that shall not be named. And that's sort of where the seeds of, I think, this particular collaboration began. Karen, hi Karen. Do you find Streamlabs OBS is easier to use than basic OBS? This is a very good question. So Streamlabs is definitely the more consumer-friendly product, and it's definitely the product where OBS sees themselves making a lot of money. It's got a lot of markets where you can buy widgets. Unlike OBS, which is purely open source, very rudimentary, and in some ways I find it a little easier to use because it's really just trying to do its job. That being said, I was surprised to find that Streamlabs had better functionality in terms of the actual stream. It was the only program that had something called performance mode. I am not in performance mode right now, which is why I'm a little choppier. But the piece itself formally was in performance mode, and it means I can't see anything that's going on. And I can't even see my mic levels, which is extraordinarily nerve-wracking. But as it turns out, that made a huge difference in being able to have a clean stream. So in some ways, yeah, I do recommend Streamlabs. The one thing I would warn you about is it does not have an automatic scene switching system, which is extremely important to me. So that minute before the show was a real nightmare because I'm balancing all of these things, trying to start stuff, and being real grateful we had a credit sequence. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have gotten in on stage. Let's see. Mo says, Josh is the best technical director. Don't you dare hire me to technical direct anything. John says, the stream looked really good. 2 computers. It's really the way. Kylie. Hi, Kylie. This is easily the coolest concept and the most well-executed art I've seen in a long time. Thank you so much for sharing this. I'm so mind-blowingly impressed. Well, that's just sweet. I didn't need to read that all. That's just good for my ego, and Scott's, and You-Shin's and Gavin's, all of whom really put in so much work. And thank you, Jess, for agreeing. Mason, so impressive. The physicality and clown of it, combined with the specificity, restrictions of the closet, it all works very well together. Oh, the can magic trick? I mean, sure, they're here. We've got 27 people. They might as well see the can magic trick.